ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa mo mọ̀ kí yín káàbọ̀ sórí ìkànnì Àràbà tẹlifíṣàn ibi tá a ti máa ń mú àwọn ìròyìn òtítọ́ àwọn ìròyìn òdodo wá fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa pàápàá jùlọ ẹ̀yin tó jẹ́ pé ẹ lè ṣàì má padà wá sórí ìkànnì wa láti ti wá mọ gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ a tún ti gbé tuntun dé ẹ̀yin èèyàn èyí tá a tún gbé wá lónìí ó lágbára pàápàá jùlọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ èyí tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ láwùjọ wa ni tó jẹ́ pé ó ń mi gbogbo ògbóró tìtìtì now ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa kẹ́ wá lè mọ gbádùn wa sí ẹ mọ́ gbàgbé láti subscribe sórí ìkànnì yìí gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí mo wá wípé àwọn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ láwùjọ wa pàápàá jùlọ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá òun là ń máa ń mú wá fẹ́yìn èèyàn wa ìròyìn òtítọ́ àtàwọn ètò tó ní í ṣe pẹ̀lú àṣà Yorùbá ó là wá gbé lọ́wọ́ ń tiwa o bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa yẹn ẹ bá wa pín kó dọ́dọ̀ ẹlòmíì bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ti wá subscribe tẹ́lẹ̀ mo kì í wípé ẹ kú ìgbádùn Àràbà tẹlifíṣàn bẹ́ẹ̀ bá sì ti subscribe tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ má gbàgbé láti subscribe tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ ti subscribe tán kíní kan tó ń bẹ ní ẹ̀gbẹ́ subscribe button tó dàbí agogo yẹn notification bell ni ẹ tẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ti tẹ̀ sí ìyẹn ni wípé gbogbo àkíyègbà tá a bá ti fi fọ́nrán tuntun tàbí à ń ṣe live show èyí gẹ́gẹ́ lẹ́ ọ̀kọ́ jẹ́ ní àkọ́kọ́ tẹ́mọ̀ rí gbádùn gbogbo àwọn ètò àtàwọn òròyìn òtítọ́ àtòdodo tá a mú wá fẹ́yìn èèyàn wa ẹ wo ẹ̀yin èèyàn kí wàá la tún wá mú wá fún yín lónìí eléyìí tún ó lágbára díẹ̀ ó rèé o.
tí a bá gbà kí wọ́n ṣe interface ní next month tí communique bá jáde tí a bá tètè activate wọ́n máa restructure wa padà sínú Nàìjíríà for another more than 100 years àṣírí lẹ́gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi ṣé 100 years ni wọ́n sign tẹ́lẹ̀ this time around ó máa ju 100 years lọ against kí ìran Yorùbá kó dá dúró because àgbáyé ò sọ fún apá lè dá dúró àti mọ̀ yẹn kò síbi kankan tọ́kọ sí pé Yorùbá people tẹ jẹ́ indigenous ẹ lè dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè ta wá ní àwọn tó ń takò ta la àwọn tó ń gbàbọ̀dè ta la àwọn tó ń dúró lé lórí pé ìran yìí ò ní dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. Update on the program yesterday. Today is the 23rd day of the month of October. Once again, today is the 23rd day of the month of October. As we continue to release more press statements, my name is Oloye and also the spokesman for Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, popularly known as Igboho Osha. And this is coming from the AOC Solicitors and Attorney, Arase Chamber, and it goes like this. 72 beside Bova Station, Iwo Road, Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. 23rd October 2024. Rejoinder on the alleged allegations of fraud leveled on Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho, published by the City News Nigeria by Akinlolu Oyebanji of AOC Solicitors and Attorney. It is disheartening to see a person digging spikes into the eyes of his benevolent as done by one Mr. Captain Ola Alufa to our client Sunday Adeyemo Igboho. Mr. Captain Ola Alufa recently caused libelous publications to be made against his benevolent Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho in the City News Nigeria on the 6th day of the October 2024 and on the 22nd of October 2024. Pathetically, members of the Nigerian police force are dancing to the tune of Mr. Captain Ola Alufa and exercising their power ultra vows to favor the said Mr. Captain Ola Alufa. This makes it imperative to set the record straight and stop misleading of the public over the issue between Mr. Captain Ola Alufa and Mr. Kunu Olusegun Francis, as well as our client Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho, upon which Mr. Captain Ola Alufa started tainting and bogusly discrediting the reputation of our client Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho. Early this year, one Mr. Kunu Olusegun Francis, a Nigerian Cotonou-based, reached out to our client Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho, considering his activism for Yoruba people and Nigerians at large, while he, Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho, was in Germany seeking for his intervention to get his freedom and the freedom of Mr. Captain Ola Alufa, among others, from the law enforcement officers in Cotonou, Benin Republic. The fact upon which they were arrested at Cotonou, Benin Republic, as confirmed by our client, Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho, is that there was a contract for the supply of automotive gas oil, AGO, to Cotonou, Benin Republic, between Mr. Captain Ola Alufa and some other people in Cotonou, Benin Republic. Mr. Captain Ola Alufa was then alleged of supplying defective and substandard automotive gas oil, AGO. Subsequent upon which the police in Cotonou, Benin Republic started looking for him, Mr. Captain Ola Alufa contacted Mr. Kuno Olusegun Francis, who based in Cotonou, to come to his aid. During the course of discussion between Mr. Captain Ola Alufa and Mr. Kuno Olusegun Francis, the police arrested them together while their workers, the contract which our client Sunday Adeyemo was never a party or privy to. With the intervention of our client Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho, the detainees, Mr. Captain Ola Alufa and Mr. Kuno Olusegun Francis, and their workers were granted administrative bail by the police in Cotonou, Benin Republic, while the matter is still pending there till date. Later, Mr. Captain Ola Alufa called our client Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho, who was then in Germany, that there was an issue between him and Mr. Kuno Olusegun Francis, which he wanted our client Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho to intervene in it before it gets escalated. According to our client, he, Mr. Captain Ola Alufa, proposed the sales of the automotive gas oil to Mr. Kuno Olusegun Francis, and being a businessman who also deals in buying and selling of automotive gas oil, to get his case settled in Cotonou, the proposal which Mr. Kuno Olusegun Francis accepted. Our client Sunday Adeyemo was never a party to the agreement between the duo, having paid part of the consideration to the tune of 352,500,000 naira, which is equivalent to $255,000, to access the automotive gas oil, leaving a balance of $105,000. The parties then discovered that the level of water in the said automotive gas oil, AGO, is much than expected. Hence, the issue of restructure of the consideration part of the agreement arose. This serves as the cause of their disagreement, upon which Mr. Captain Ola Alufa sought our client Sunday Adeyemo intervention. Our client Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho then appealed to the duo to shift ground for each other in the interest of peace and nothing more. There is no record or evidence to show that there was a transaction, contractual, or Soro sheet between our client Sunday Adeyemo and Sunday Igboho and Mr. Captain Ola Alufa, and or any other body whatsoever. It came as a shock to our office and our client himself, Sunday Adeyemo Sunday Igboho, to hear that an expert order was obtained at the instance of Mr. Captain Ola Alufa to extradite and arrest our client over the contractual relationship he is never a party to. It is very clear, we believe, that the above-mentioned news published by City News Nigeria, instigated by Mr. Captain Ola Alufa, was only used to malign and defame our client Sunday Adeyemo's integrity and defaming his character, which has caused serious injury to his standing credit and reputation before his colleagues, business associates, neighbors, friends, and well-wishers. They said Mr. Captain Ola Alufa is still needed to appear before the police in Benin, Cotonou, to defend himself in respect of the substandard automotive gas oil AGO brought against him in Cotonou, Benin Republic, as he jumped bail, which our client, Sunday Adeyemo's intervention secured for him. On a last note, while our firm is not holding brief for Mr. Kunu Olusegun Francis, it is very pertinent to state that Mr. Captain Olaf Olufa is a non-smuggler who deals in smuggling adulterated product, AGOS, to the neighboring countries, and this has necessitated the government of Benin Republic to place him on a wanted list. It will equally interest the general public to note that a petition has been forwarded to the Office of Inspector General of Police by the Office of AOC Solicitors and Attorney on behalf of Sunday Adeyemo for criminal defamation of character, and also a fundamental action has been instituted against him, Mr. Captain Ola Alufa, as well as the Interpol section of the police for necessary action. The hint Mr. Captain Ola Alufa is very much aware, including the office of the Interpol at Alagbon, Ikoyi, Lagos State, which made them to resort to media trial. Akinlolu Oyebamiji, ESQ, Principal Partner, Akinlolu Oyebanji. And this is the updated from the solicitor representing Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. Fún àǹfààní gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n gbọ́ èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì tí a fi kọ interclassita ẹ̀. Tí àwọn agbẹjọ́ bàbá wa Olóyè Igboho tó ń jẹ́ kó yé wa nínú ìwé tí wọ́n fi ránṣẹ́ sí wa kó tó di pé a bẹ̀rẹ̀ program yìí ni pé arákùnrin kan wà tó gbé ọjà lọ sí Benin Republic. Nígbà tó gbé ọjà dọ́hùn, òun àti ẹni tí wọ́n jọ fẹ́ tajà tí bàbá wa Olóyè Igboho mọ kankan nípa ẹ̀, wọn ò ní any contract, wọn ò ní kankan tó dà wọ́n papọ̀ nínú ọjà tó gbé lọ sí Benin. Irú ọjà wo là ń sọ yìí? Ọjà tó ń pè ní automotive gas and oil. Nígbà tí wọ́n gbé dé Benin Republic, ẹni tí wọ́n gbé dé ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀, arákùnrin tó ń pè ní Captain Ọlá Alúfàì, ó bọ́ sínú wàhálà pẹ̀lú ìjọba Benin Republic. Ó pe ọ̀rẹ́ rẹ̀ tó ń pè ní Kúnlé Kùnú Olúṣẹ́gun Francis, ìyẹn ọmọ Nàìjíríà àmọ́ nílùú Benin lòún gbé. Níbẹ̀ ni ọlọ́pàá arrest àwọn méjèèjì pẹ̀lú àwọn tó jọ ń bá wọn ṣiṣẹ́. Wọ́n pe Olóyè Igboho, Olóyè bá wọn dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Ọlọ́pàá fi sílẹ̀ on bail kó tó di pé ọjà tó gbé lọ sí Benin, ìyẹn Captain Ọlá Alúfà, ìyẹn Mr. Kùnú Olúṣẹ́gun Francis, ó di pé wọ́n gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ tí wọ́n dẹ̀ san nínú owó fún. Gbogbo eléyìí kò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú Olóyè Igboho, àmọ́ owó tí Olúkùnú Francis tó san fún ìyẹn ẹni tó mú ẹjọ́ wá tó mú lọ sórí mídíà tí wọ́n náà wọ́n wá olóyè káàkiri, òun ni pé wọ́n ti san díẹ̀ nínú owó tí wọ́n jọ ṣe agreement to the tune of 352 million naira and 500,000 naira, tó bọ́ sí iye tí a máa pè ní $255,000. Nígbà tó kù balance of $105,000, kí ló wá dé tó di pé wọ́n mú orúkọ olóyè wọnú èyí tí àwọn méjèèjì ò jọ mọ̀ nípa ẹ̀? Òun ni pé Mr. Captain Ọlá Olúfà tó ti jump bail lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí ní Benin Republic tí wọ́n wá, ó lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ City Newspaper, ó kó ẹjọ́ lọ síbẹ̀ nítorí pé wọ́n mọ̀ dájú pé orúkọ Olóyè Igboho gangan ni orúkọ tí gbogbo èèyàn mọ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Ìta tó wá ń fẹ́ mọ̀ ni pé ṣáwọn míì wà lẹ́yìn iṣẹ́ tó ń lọ yìí, torí pé ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kò ń ṣe lénìí, ọ̀rọ̀ tó ti ń bọ̀ láti bí gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn akọ̀wé Olóyè Igboho jẹ́ kó yé wa nínú fọ́nrán tí a kà síta pé wọ́n ti kọ̀wé sí lórí ìyẹn ní ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ọdún yìí tá a pè ní on the 6th of October, kó tó di pé arákùnrin tún gbé ẹjọ́ lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ pépà lọ́n the 22nd, ìyẹn lánàá, èyí ní 23rd. Ìbéèrè tí à ń bi Mr. Captain Ọlá Alúfà ni pé níbo lòun àti olóyè ti jọ jókòó tí wọ́n ti jọ kọ̀wé pé àwọn fẹ́ tajà fúnra wọn, àti pé kí ló lè wá mú ìdí tí wọ́n mú orúkọ olóyè lọ sí ilé ẹjọ́ ìyẹn ní Èkó tó fi di pé àwọn Interpol wọ́n náà wọ́n ń wá Olóyè Igboho. Àwọn agbẹjọ́rò tó jẹ́ fún olóyè wá jẹ́ kó yé wa pé àwọn ti kọ̀wé sí ìjọba ọlọ́pàá ti Àbújá tí a mọ̀ sí Inspector General of Police àwọn dẹ̀ ti fi ìwé ránṣẹ́ náà sí àwọn tó ń bẹ ní Interpol ní alágbọn ní Ìkòyí ní Lagos State nítorí pé in tí wọ́n ń play out yìí òun la máa ń pè ní media trial nígbà tí ẹjọ́ ṣòwò kí ni tolóyè nínú ẹ̀ ìyẹn gẹ́gẹ́ bí agbẹnusọ èmi gẹ́gẹ́ bí agbẹnusọ fún olóyè Ìgbòho òun ni mo tún fi yé wa pé eléyìí ni update version tí a mú wá láti orí ìkànnì wa Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí and welcome, and we will come back to that in just about a few minutes. But let's come out and continue the discussion. I remember nígbà tí mo lọ́lé ní 2021, I spent good amount of time to understand that Igboho was dealing with not just Yoruba nation, but was working tirelessly on a daily basis, solving problems that were not coming to the limelight of the public. And I was shocked because on a daily basis, there were queues of hundreds, at least, not thousands, but hundreds of people on a daily basis. And I mean on a daily basis, up to the Sunday, that brings all kind of cases. That brings all kind of cases to Igboho to be resolved. And that literally means that Igboho became what we would call Citizen Advice Bureau. Ẹ má worry, mo ti yọ ọmọ àlè yẹn kúrò, ẹ má jẹ́ kó dá yín láàmú, mo ti yọ kúrò, mo ti spot it. So, at the end of the day, mo wá realize pé iṣẹ́ tí olóyè gbé dání kò ń sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation nìkan. Ẹni tó máa gbẹ́jọ́ ilẹ̀ wá, ẹni tó máa gbẹ́jọ́ ìyá wọn náà wọ́n, bàbá wọn náà wọ́n, oríṣiríṣi case, just like bí a ṣe mọ̀ pé tá bá wo Nàìjíríà, intimidation ó wà lára ìdí tí a ṣe ń sọ pé a fẹ́ gba country wa. Because tá bá ní country tiwa, kò sẹ́ni tó máa intimidate ara wọn. Olúkálùkù máa ní right. Tí nǹkan bá dẹ̀ dáadáa bó ṣe jẹ́ kó lọ, mo kí àwa Madam Bali, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí ètò ẹ̀ bá gbé wọlé share button. Wàá gbé lọ sí ilé ẹjọ́. Bó bí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe mọ̀, tó o bá mọ̀yàn ní Nàìjíríà, ìyà máa jẹ́. You will suffer the consequence if you do not know someone in Nigeria. So that means that many people are looking for somebody like Igboho to come around and help them with many cases that they've tried to solve either amicably or because for one reason or the other. So that for me was one of the things that got me shocked nígbà tí mo lọ lé ní 2021, because I didn't realize that Igboho was also like another office that was helping many people to solve many different cases. But for the period of time I was with him, I now realized that Igboho was working heavily to make sure that many lives were saved. It's just a common sense that the average Yoruba man should understand that in tí Igboho ń jà fún, kò ń jà fún ara ẹ̀ nìkan. Many people, even up to when we were in Belfast, at least while we were together, many calls were coming through for different problems upon problems, and people can testify to that. Àwọn tó bá ní problem yẹn, kódà ìyá wa kan lórí program wa ní bíbá called me and wanted to speak to Igboho because there were some crises that he need to deal with, and that is the reason why that we were telling many people that until tá bá kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà ni a máa lè solve many problems. Igboho cannot resolve all the problems in Yoruba land. That is why we need a country that works. Our lórí program only, we call it anything more lórí program. All right, sorry later. All right. So, in tí gbogbo ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ ní understanding is that just as what Igboho is fighting for, the least he will see is for somebody to be intimidated. Kọ́rẹ́yàn jẹ, kó fẹ́ lo ọlá agbára léèyàn lórí, because ẹni tí kò níyàn tí kò dẹ̀ mọ̀yàn will be looking for somebody like Igboho. And today there is nothing that can solve all the problems that we are facing in Yoruba land until tá bá kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Tá bá kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, à láǹfààní láti lè resolve multiple crises and problems tá à ń face nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. But tá bá refuse pé ká wà nínú Nàìjíríà, kódà kò sí the amount of àwọn tí ẹ pè ní NGO tó lè solve problem yẹn, wọn ò ní lè solve ẹ̀. Ìdí tá ṣe ń pariwo pé kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá fọwọ́ sí kí ìran Yorùbá lè tètè tú kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Àtàbádẹ̀ wo àkọlé ètò tí a gbé kalẹ̀ ní wákàtí, a rí pé ó dá sí who ta ni among láàrin ẹ̀yà ọmọ Yorùbá are against tí wọ́n tako independent Yorùbá country kó exit union tí wọ́n kó wá sí ní 1914 amalgamation àti tá fi lọ sí independent. Let me repeat that again. Who láàrin gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, ẹ̀yin náà máa kọ sí comment section, láàrin gbogbo ẹ̀yà tí Yorùbá jẹ́ lénìí, ta ló wà against kí ìran Yorùbá kó dá dúró? Because àgbáyé ò sọ fún apá lè dá dúró, àti mọ̀ yẹn. Kò síbi kankan tó kọ sí pé Yorùbá people tẹ́ jẹ́ indigenous ẹ lè dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. Ta wá ní àwọn tó ń takò, ta làwọn tó ń gbàbọ̀dè, ta làwọn tó ń dúró lé lórí pé ìran yìí ò ní dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè? Because tó bá jẹ́ pé gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá fọwọ́ sí pé ká dá dúró ni, ìwọ̀nba ní eléyìí tá máa ṣe. So ta làwọn tó ń takò gangan, àti pé kí ni ìdí táwọn fi ń takò? Ṣé wọ́n ń takò pé kó support international community against wa ni, àbí kó support the agenda? Torí gbogbo ala mọ̀ pé there is an agenda. In tó bá dẹ̀ ti ní agenda nínú, agenda yẹn wọ́n máa fulfill ẹ̀. Agenda Fúlàní ni pé kó gbalẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́, ìyẹn lákọ̀ọ́kọ́. Fúlàní wá ready láti lo gbogbo tó bá ní láti fi gbalẹ̀ yẹn mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. Àmọ́ ìjà wa tó kù máa wá accept, ìjà kan máa fold arms wa, ìjà máa jókòó. Lára reason táwa kan ṣe dìde nìyẹn. Because lóòótọ́ kò ń ṣe pé ní ló ti ń pariwo pé kí Yorùbá dá dúró, àmọ́ àwọn tó gbé dání wọn ò fi òtítọ́ àti ẹ̀dùn ọkàn tó ń yọ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́nu, torí pé wọ́n náà fẹ́ country, but wọ́n sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ country, wọ́n ní kó restructure, wọ́n ní kó fún wọn ní regional government. Ẹnu yẹn dẹ̀ lọ dúró lé láti 30 years. Kódà béèyàn bá ń lù nǹkan fún 30 years tí kò bá dáhùn, ó jẹ́ ká lè switch. Kí ló dé táwọn yẹn tó wá ń pariwo pé kí ìran Yorùbá dá dúró láàrin restructure àti regional, nígbà tá lè dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè kan lágbàáyé tó máa ní independent tiẹ̀? Nítorí pé a mọ̀ pé àwọn ìlú kan wà lágbàáyé, kódà independent tiwọn kò fẹ́ẹ̀ má lágbára táwa bá gba tiwa, torí pé most of this country are small. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wo Malta ni wọ́n ti lọ refine epo Nàìjíríà. Ṣe rí pé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá a ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tí a nídìí láti ṣe gbé epo lọ síta. A máa build refinery sílẹ̀ Yorùbá tó máa work, tó máa lè mú iṣẹ́ wá, tó dẹ̀ máa mú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àǹfààní fáwọn ọmọ Yorùbá. So ta làwọn tó ń takò? Who are the enemies of Yorùbás? Àwọn wo ni wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kí Yorùbá kúrò ní stage tá wà yìí? Àwọn wo ni wọ́n ń takò? Àwọn wo ni wọ́n dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí igi tí à ń gbé báyìí, wọ́n ń jù báyìí? And what is the purpose and the mission? And what can we do? Kí la lè ṣe tí a lè fi stop wọn? Kí la lè ṣe tí a lè fi suppress wọn? Kí la lè ṣe tí a lè fi strangulate wọn? Nítorí pé a bá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí 100 people, ká fẹ́ jà nísìn as an example. Tí èèyàn kan láàrin wa bá ti gbàbọ̀dè fún wa, kí lẹ rò pa lè ṣe fún èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀? A wá rí pé àwọn tó ń tako ìran wọn, àwọn mọ̀ dájú pé ìran yẹn lè dá dúró. Kò ń ṣe pé ó dìgbà tí wòlíì bá sọ fún wa pé ó ti tó kí Yorùbá nation dá dúró. Nídìí bàbá Adébóyè kó sọ fún wa pé kí Yorùbá dá dúró. a nídìí màálà kò sọ fún wa, a nídìí Britain kò sọ fún wa, kódà ojú gbogbo wa la mọ̀ pé ní ìgbà kan rí lórí ilẹ̀ yẹn a ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan tó mú àṣeyọrí jáde. Kí ló wá fà tá wà backward? Kí ló fà á tí ìran yìí wá wà behind more than in tó wà tẹ́lẹ̀? Àti pé ṣé bá ṣe máa bá lọ lélẹ̀, nítorí pé bí gbogbo wa fẹ́ bá kọ̀ bó a fẹ́ bá kọ̀ ikú kan ló máa pa gbogbo wa. Kí ló wá dé tí a fi ẹ̀mí wá sílẹ̀ láti jàjà òtítọ́ láti lè fi gbára wa sílẹ̀? In tí olóyè ń ṣe nìyẹn tó fi di pé gbogbo ilé owó ẹ̀ wọ́n ti pa. Wọ́n close accounted because wọ́n mọ̀ pé tó bá jẹ́ pé owó yẹn ló fi ń operate ni, tá a bá close ẹ̀ àá sọ ẹ́ dolòṣì. Àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá wá ní no, kò jẹ́ kó rí báyìí. Wọ́n wá refuse. Àwọn wá súnmọ́ lóyè Ìgbòho pé kàkà kí wọ́n sọ ẹ́ di olòṣì, torí pé tí Málà fẹ́ nìyẹn. Wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé olè wà láàrin àwọn Yorùbá, àwọn tó bá ti gbówó fún, nítorí pé gbogbo ìpàdé tó fẹ́ pè ní November 7 sí kò ju pé instigation àwọn Britain. Òun lẹ gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi, Britain ló ń create that instigation fáwọn bá jáde láti lè confirm pé àwọn ò fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Fact lẹ ti gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi lọ́sàn-án yìí. British government àti àwọn tí wọ́n jọ ń ṣèjọba ìlú yìí, àwọn ni wọ́n ti pe àwọn balẹ̀ Yorùbá pé tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá jáde láti disagree pẹ̀lú àwọn Yorùbá nation, a máa activate gbogbo ohun tó yẹ ká ṣe fáwọn tí wọ́n gbé lẹ́tà wá. Ó wá kù sẹ́mi àti yín lọ́wọ́, ṣé bá ṣe máa wá jókòó ní tí a mọ àwọn tó sign amalgamation, wọ́n á ní ọba kan ló sign ẹ̀, ọba òun ti kú nísìnyí, ó kó dààmú lé wa lọ́wọ́. Ṣé a tún máa wá gbà káwọn balẹ̀ Yorùbá, kò ń ṣe gbogbo wọn? Mo sì bá àwọn ọba tí wọ́n jẹ́ àwọn tí wọ́n ò ní ọba, ẹ mọ̀ káwọn ọba ní stage, wọ́n dẹ̀ ní different level. Àwọn tó wà ní bottom, àwọn ń tara pé ìtagbédá ní òtítọ́ ni, àmọ́ àwọn tó wà lókè tó jẹun kúná dáadáa, káwọn ọmọ wọn tó ti fún wọn ní scholarship, torí pé òyìnbó mọ bó ṣe mú wọn, wàá béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn pé ọmọ mélòó lẹ fẹ́ fún ní scholarship, wàá gbé scholarship lé wọn lọ́wọ́. Tí a bá gbà kí wọ́n ṣe interface ní next month, tí communique bá jáde, tí a bá tètè activate, wọ́n máa restructure wa padà sínú Nàìjíríà for another more than 100 years. Àṣírí lẹ gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi. Ṣé 100 years ni wọ́n sign tẹ́lẹ̀? This time around ó máa ju 100 years lọ. Tẹ́ bá yẹ ká padà sẹ́yìn díẹ̀, tẹ́ bá rántí before the election, mo fẹ́ gbé wa padà sí a little bit of British, how are you? The right thing said. Tẹ́ bá rántí pé the former British High Commission to Nigeria, ó rin àwọn ìrìn kan kó tó di pọ́ kúrò. Ó rin àwọn ìrìn kan, former British High Commissioner to Nigeria visit to Aláàfin. Now, ẹ jẹ́ n padà sí átíkù yẹn. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan tẹ́ gbọ́ ó lè share button, because ìpàdé tó ń bọ̀ ní November 7 ó dá lórí pé wọ́n fẹ́ kó wa padà sínú amalgamation. Òun lẹ ti gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi yẹn. We are going back into amalgamation if we all sleep and allow our kings to endorse Britain to keep Nigeria together for many more years. Mo ń bọ̀, mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí. Yoruba nation is the only way out. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Mo kí wa pé a kú o. Now, ẹ jẹ́ kí n kọ́kọ́ lọ sọ́dọ̀, ẹ jẹ́ n gbé padà sí 2016. Paul Arkwright yesterday wrap up his first ever visit to Ogun State in the Southwest. This article was published on the 3rd of June 2016. The High Commissioner in discussion with Governor Ibikunle Amosun on possible UK collaboration with Ogun State. This was in 2016. Article tí mò ń kà ẹ́. Some highlight of the two-day visit, which commenced on Wednesday, 1st of June 2016, included calls on Ogun State Governor, former Ibikunle Amosun, and the former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, tí Ọbásanjọ́ wá ń sọ nísìn pé òun ò ní fara mọ́ Odùduwà Republic nítorí pé òun believe in one Nigeria, so kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ Odùduwà Republic lọ́dọ̀ tòun. I'll come back to that in that article, but let me bring my screen up. Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Share the program because it is important that many Yoruba people know what is going on, because many of us are sleeping and they're about to sign another agreement to keep Yoruba people within Nigeria. So, now, let's go through it. Now, tẹ́bá wo article tí mo fi wọ̀n wá ní, this was less than 24 hours ago. While all these allegation upon allegation against Igboho, Obasanjo quickly came out. One need Obasanjo kó sọ̀rọ̀, but Obasanjo is not strong enough to send the message to the international community. The international community is now monitoring what is going on in Nigeria because one more Ogun lè bẹ́lẹ̀ ní Nigeria, and tó Ogun bá bẹ́lẹ̀, they will hold the government of Nigeria accountable for any loss of lives. Now, what they need now is Britain to tell our kings àwọn balẹ̀ Yorùbá pé tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá tètè ṣe ìpàdé kẹ́ sọ fún àgbáyé pé ẹ̀yin ò fọwọ́ sí pé kí Nàìjíríà pín nísìn. That means that whatever consequence tó bá dé sálẹ̀, you might also be part of it as part of the player. Àwọn ọba yẹn wá sáré pé ìpàdé. Òun ni ìpàdé tó fẹ́ ṣe ní November 7. First and foremost, Igboho is not going to attend any meeting in Nigeria. I can confirm that officially. Gbogbo ìpàdé tó bá fẹ́ ṣe pẹ̀lú Igboho will be through the Zoom and will also be in the public domain. Lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ ni àṣepàdé kọ̀kọ̀. Gbogbo ìpàdé tó máa ń ṣe for a very long time. Ṣé rántí pé it has been the norm that tó bá fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan kan ní Nigeria, I'm talking about 10, 20, 30 years ago. Wá ṣe secret meeting. Wá tún ṣe secret meeting. Kódà secret meeting yẹn máa pé bíi 10. Ẹ ní wá mọ èyí tó máa lò nínú ẹ̀. Wọ́n ní fi orí wa fágbọn, orí tiwọn ló máa fi fágbọn. Nítorí pé wọ́n fẹ́ endorse láti sọ fún Britain pé it is not yet time for Nigeria to dissolve, even though everybody knows that Nigeria is due to be deamalgamated. Kí ló ń pè ní deamalgamation? The amalgamation of what was amalgamated, because Nigeria was only amalgamated. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló ń jẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀. Now, ẹ wo headline here. This is the headline yesterday. I am better as a Nigerian than in Odùduwà Republic. Ta ló rán Ọbásanjọ́ ńṣẹ́? Ta ló gbéṣẹ́ lé lọ́wọ́? Because he's an expired man. Nobody cares about him anymore. Another 30 years, he will be gone. Another 30 years, he will be gone. Another 30 years, I will be in my 70s. Kọ́lọ̀ fún lẹ́mìí gúngùn, àgbàdúrà kú fún, àgbàdúrà kú fèmí náà. But do we now say that we should keep listening to all these old baggers that destroy us and sold us to Britain in the first place? Tẹ́ bá rántí pé ogun Biafra, Ọbásanjọ́ was fully involved in the Biafra war. Wàrà àwọn tí wọ́n train ní Britain ní Ọbásanjọ́. Lára àwọn tó train ní Buhari, lára àwọn tó train ní Gowon. These are the trained experts. That is why they keep going back to Britain to tell Britain that Nigeria is not going to break. Now, ta ló máa wá gbà láàrin wa? Ṣé Igboho nìkan lẹ fẹ́ gbé pressure lé lórí ni? No. Igboho nìkan kọ́ ló fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́. Ó kù sí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lọ́wọ́. The economy of Nigeria is going nowhere because it is completely dead. That's number one. The security is not going to change because there's an agenda, not only in Nigeria, by the West to make sure that the whole Sahel area, ìyẹn ni wọ́n ṣe ń kó terrorists lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ Niger, because Niger right now is free, and Burkina Faso is free, and I believe Mali. Those three are free from the Western hypocrite and ideology because what make people go together and they want to move a gas pipeline. Láti gba Niger, I'll come back to that. But the focus now is for the Yoruba people to understand the danger that we are facing right now. If we do not do nothing, what can we do? We can make as much noise on social media, but we need to be out on the street at the appropriate time that should not be not less than before 2027. Because if we allow the agenda of Britain again and allow Tinubu to be dismissed, that only lead Tinubu law by 2027, then they will bring in another northerners to fulfill the last part of Tinubu's agenda. Tinubu has agreed to that, but I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's go back again to the visitation of the British High Commissioner. These are their own agenda. As of 2016, none of us were talking about Yoruba nation. But there were some people that told us that they are the Yoruba country. We were calling for Yoruba nation. People like Victor Taiwo, they are criminals. Criminals among the Yoruba. They were using the word Yoruba nation. But the word Yoruba nation mean nothing to them because they were part of the agenda. Now they realize that there's another agenda. But this agenda is going to be fulfilled. This agenda will be delivered. This agenda is different from the agenda that were there before. Tẹ́ bá rántí pé ní 2016 tí eléyìí ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí, 2017 was when this video came out, and I want us to listen to it. Look at the article. This is published on the British website called gov.uk. In Toba Fisibi by confirming, I did not write it. This is exactly, but this is what they're just telling you on a brief. But leave behind the curtain, they will not tell you everything that Amosun signed. And we find out later because Amosun not tap from Ogun State. But what we know is that Amosun sold to Chinese what led to the presidential plane being arrested outside Nigeria. It's because we did not know until the Chinese came out and said, no, Amosun ti tan kan fáwọn, wo de jẹ́ kó work. You can see that the agenda of these criminal politicians is working, but because we have all tolerated it. If we do not stop it now, it will be a total disaster. Let's first listen to this before we go further. My name is Olamide Iki. Please share the program. It is very, very important. Today's program is the most important program we've done in the 4 years because what if they sign another treaty to keep Yoruba together, and that is the reason why they're calling for November 7th of all the kings. I don't know who of the king is going to be there, but what I can tell you is that there is an agenda to sign the Yoruba people back with the British amalgamation that has already expired because what very new agreement here, and they will not tell you this, but in terms of power, everything will be fine. But there is an agenda now that November 7th meeting is going to happen. But the inside Koro meeting is not going to happen in the broad daylight. Òru ló máa padà ṣe meeting yẹn. Gbogbo ìtọ́ máa ṣe fún yín láàárọ̀, irọ́ ni o. Gbogbo ìtọ́ bá televise fún yín láàárọ̀, irọ́ ni o. Ó di òru ló máa gbé document lé wọn lọ́wọ́ tó lúkálùkù máa tọwọ́ bọ̀. Wọ́n fẹ́ sign Yorùbá padà sí amalgamation tó ti expire. Tẹ́yìn ọmọ Yorùbá bá gbà. Torí pé èmi nìkan kọ́ lọ́mọ Yorùbá, Ìgbòho kọ́ nìkan lọ́mọ Yorùbá, bàbá Kítóyè kọ́. I am telling you this based on the intelligence that came to me some few days ago. But I've been busy and I'm back to my base now. And this is the time now that we raise the voice. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá ṣe ìtànfẹ́, you will be back as another amalgamation that could last another 100 years. So let's first listen to this. This was in 2017 when many of our comrades then realized that there's a danger. That danger must now be activated. But àwọn tó náà wọ́n ṣe Yorùbá nation tẹ́lẹ̀ will go through the extent of releasing the people to know the truth. All they did was lies upon lies upon lies. But people like George Akinola knew the truth, knew that they were playing games with the Yoruba people, knew that there was no reason for us to continue with Nigeria. But what suppressed our people yẹn? Wọ́n jẹ́ kí wọ́n gbé ọ̀rọ̀ jáde. Now that we have a different media, that is different from the NTA, the channel, the TVC, all these criminal medias that do not have any value for Yoruba people. We have now been able to give many Yoruba people the understanding of an independent country. Mo tún béèrè lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, Who among the Yorubas are against Yoruba having its own independent country? When countries that are less than our population are countries today, if we refuse to do nothing, November 7th is the D-Day that another amalgamation is about to play out in Nigeria. Listen to this. This was 2017. A year after Ogun State criminal governor Amosun brought in the former British High Commissioner. After ọkùnrin yẹn lọ gbé Katrina Lang, Katrina Lang also paid a visit to most of the others around as well as at the time. But let's listen to this.
Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Oodua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces?
This country that has already shot to pieces. This was in 2017. This was when this comrade realized the truth. But most of us abroad, we were busy working, sending money home, being used as statistics by the World Bank and the IMF and the Nigerian government as another number. They refused to allow the diaspora to have a diaspora voting. Yet, we did not have a say. But we were pumping money back home. Billions of dollars of diaspora money, including mine, because we thought that was the only way to save the lives of our people. We did not realize that the only way to save our people was to exit the contraction called Nigeria. On November 7, 2024, they are planning to sign a new fraudulent amalgamation to keep Yoruba people within Nigeria, and we must not allow such to happen. Let's go back to the video.
I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance.
They are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. That is exactly what of a play again. We had all the obas, we had all the politicians. Was inside one of the biggest, most important stadium in the world called Adamasiga, even though the standard is not very good due to the fact that Nigeria took it away from us. Now, what they did in 2017 was to tell all the Yoruba people, Emma Lord Dibomo, because it is not about even the voting that will bring you back into Nigeria. But November 7th is the new amalgamation that will be signed secretly. None of us will know because they will not give you that information. But I am telling us today that ìpàdé tó fẹ́ ṣe ní Lagos State is a new fraudulent amalgamation that Britain is also aware of. And if we do nothing now, it will be difficult because one man kick Tinubu out. Tinubu might not make it to 2027 in terms of the election. And that means the northern agenda will kick in. That is why àwọn olè Fúlàní lọ bá Ọbásanjọ́ nílé. I will show you the article as well. Because ibẹ̀ ni Ọbásanjọ́ ti sọ pé òun ò kì í ṣọmọ Yorùbá, ọmọ Nàìjíríà lòun. Òun dẹ̀ believe in only Nigeria and nothing less. We are now at the crossroad. We are now at a crossroad. If we sleep more than what we are sleeping now, we are sliding into a new Nigeria where Nigeria will include Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, even though we know that the Biafra are working tirelessly to exit, but it is important that the Yoruba people now wake up before we are put back into another amalgamation. Let's go back to the video one more time.
The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end.
If it has come to an end, why then are we planning to renew it? If it has come to an end, kí ló dé tí àwọn balẹ̀ Yorùbá àti àwọn elite àti politician, kí ló dé tó fẹ́ súnmọ́ àwọn òyìnbó láti sign wa padà sínú another amalgamation? Let me remind us of this article one more time. Once again, my name is Oloye Koiki. You're watching a live broadcast on the 23rd of October 2024 at exactly 16:24 or 27 in the UK, London, England. British High Commissioner Paul Arkwright complete a 2-day visit to Ogun State. Tẹ́ bá rántí pé Ogun State is a unique state. Ogun State has the uniqueness that the world also needs. And Britain are not ready to allow everyone to go their separate way. They're not going to give us a country. There's no doubt about it. But we must not allow them to sign us again into a fraudulent amalgamation, knowing fully well that the world is expecting Yoruba people to be free from the bondage and the shackles of what is called Nigeria. And if we do not allow such to happen now, it will be a total disaster. And that is why we must do everything to be free as quickly as.
I saw Nigeria in the hands of the Almighty God, heaven and earth. Carrying Nigeria was and it crash landed Nigeria. And Nigeria was scattered into pieces.
Amen.
Amen.
And
it was divided into various ways. And the hands took eraser and it erased Nigeria. It wrote another nation which I could not know. The second mission I saw the sun, and it was called the Son of Righteousness. And the sun set all of a sudden. And God told me, if the Son of Righteousness come down in Nigeria, and we're going to suffer a lot. The third vision.
Amen.
Amen.
Please, everybody pay attention to a little boy called David. A young man saved from garage without wisdom of men. So listen.
Warning from the third revelation.
Any Christian in Nigeria,
You Christian in Nigeria, if you allow the Son of Righteousness to go down in this nation, we are going to all suffer. If the righteousness of Christian has been collapsed, the enemy will prevail or have power over them. What happened to all of us in this nation is righteousness has fallen or collapsed. There is no more righteousness in the church. No more righteousness in the church. And Yoruba did come to pass on us. The righteous one in the city is the wicked one. All of us speaking the truth, you are trying to silence us. I wrote something on the Facebook this week. Somebody said, Daddy, easy. But what I said, I mean it. I cannot talk in the secret that I cannot say it in the public. I don't want hearsay. I don't want lie and hearsay. That's why I'm using
Anybody
smartwatch.
talking around me is on record. Whatever I'm saying, you don't
need to be told. The help of the Christian. But my word of encouragement to us was that we should go and revive. All of us, we call ourselves Christian in this nation. We are after money and position. Righteousness are falling away from the church. Righteousness are falling away from the pulpit. Righteousness are falling away from the church. Righteousness are falling in the life of people. The neighbors are deceiving themselves. Two pastors relating together with lies. The leaders are relating with the followers with lies. And the all our newspapers are full of lies. Somebody was killing along the Oloye express road.
Secretary to government,
And the secretary to the government said he was still armed robber. Though the victim said it was armed robber for Fulani. Government was lying, media was lying, radio.
Tó bá lélẹ̀ tó sòótọ́ náà àwọn rédíò wọ̀nyí.
If there is anyone that say truth,
ìjọba nìkan lọ ti pa.
the government will ask them to go and shut them
A
up.
fi èké ń tu ayé ara wa.
We are using lies to arrange our
Òdodo ní
life.
gbé orílẹ̀-èdè lékè.
Righteousness exalted a nation.
Orílẹ̀-èdè tí òdodo rẹ̀ bá ti ṣubú.
Any nation that righteousness has
Yóò
collapsed
ṣubú náà ni.
will fall as well.
Ó ń kán ni mò ń sọ lórí Nàìjíríà.
Only one thing I'm laying emphasis on today,
Tún sọ.
and I will continue to say it.
Margaret Thatcher ló sọ nígbà tó visit Nàìjíríà.
Thatcher said it when she visited
Nígbà tó jẹ́
Nigeria.
Prime Minister UK.
When she was Prime Minister of the
Ìyẹn
United
ti kú ní
Kingdom,
ìsìn.
the woman is dead now.
Nígbà tó wá sí orílẹ̀-èdè yìí.
When she came to this
Tó
nation,
wo gbogbo ìṣe wa.
that look at all
Ó
our
ní
things.
Nàìjíríà is an artificial country.
Ó ní Nàìjíríà jẹ́ orílẹ̀-èdè tí a tọwọ́ ènìyàn ṣe.
Built on faulty
Ṣe
foundation.
àgbé lórí ìpìlẹ̀ tí ò tọ́,
Proper structure.
láì ní ìpìlẹ̀ tó fìdí múlẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe rí gan nìyẹn.
And that's how it is.
I keep on saying it.
Mò ń sọ,
Nigeria is an artificial country.
Nàìjíríà jẹ́ orílẹ̀-èdè tí a tọwọ́ ènìyàn dá.
Gbogbo ẹnu ni mo fi sọ láìsí
All
ibẹ̀.
my house without
Ibo
apology.
láǹfààní ní gbangba máa sọ
If
bẹ́ẹ̀.
I have privilege to say publicly, I will declare it.
Nigeria is an artificial country
Nàìjíríà jẹ́ orílẹ̀-èdè tí a tọwọ́
built
ènìyàn dá.
on faulty foundation
Àgbé lórí ìpìlẹ̀ tí kò
without
dá,
proper structure.
láì ní àwọn ìgbékalẹ̀
And we
tó
keep
dá.
patching it.
A sì ń mọ à ń.
Ìgbé tá a bá fi tọ́mọ,
Any house we used to train a
ìrì
child,
ló máa wó kalẹ̀.
definitely deal with collapse.
Òdodo ní gbé orílẹ̀-èdè lékè.
Righteousness exalted a nation.
Irọ́ làwa fi ń kọ́
And we are
orílẹ̀-èdè.
using lies to build our own
Kò
nation.
sígbà tí ò ní wó.
There is no way we will not collapse.
Ọgbẹ́ ènìyàn ò lè tó ìlú.
The wisdom and education of man cannot have
Ọgbẹ́ ènìyàn ò lè tó ìjọ.
The wisdom of man cannot have in church.
Kìrìsìtẹ́nì kì í ṣe pé mo kàwé.
Christian is not about education.
Ìwé dáa.
Education is true.
Ṣùgbọ́n
But
Bíbélì pé
the Bible says,
ìwé a máa pani.
letter killeth.
Ẹ̀mí ní sọ ní di
The
àyè.
spirit that quickeneth.
Amen.
Amen.
Now gbogbo ọgbẹ́ ènìyàn
All the wisdom and philosophy of man
tó ayé kò tó orílẹ̀-èdè.
cannot arrange this world or nation.
Àwọn professor lórí economics ò
The
níye.
professors on economics are numerous.
Wọ́n lè yanjú economic
They cannot
Nàìjíríà.
settle the economic problem of Nigeria.
Ìkànnú ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n economics lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí.
One of the
Ó
professor in
ní ó ní
economics.
Nigeria economics a galloping economy.
Ó ní ọrọ̀ ajé Nàìjíríà ó jẹ́ èyí tó ń lọ sókè tó ń lọ
Ṣubú ṣeré ni.
Ṣubú ṣeré ni o.
Wọ́n sì ẹ̀yàn prime minister minister for petroleum tuntun.
They have just appointed a new minister of petroleum.
Ó ní àlè continue pẹ̀lú 145 by ní.
And he said we can't continue with 145 per jala
Àbídá
ipo
fekun.
except we had to eat.
Fekun kò yanjú
We
ìṣòro wa.
had and had to eat. It couldn't solve our problem.
Now mi ò tí ì ráyè ti
I
Nàìjíríà.
don't have time for Nigeria now.
Kristẹni ni mo fẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀
But I want
lónìí.
to talk to Christian in Nigeria.
Ìrànlọ́wọ́ Kristẹni.
The help of Christian.
Dálà ń pè ní Kristẹni.
Who is a Christian?
Kì í ṣe Paul.
You know,
This is 2021. Some people are already getting ready to kill themselves over 2023. And they don't even know whether there will be 2023. They don't even know if there is 2023, whether they will still be around. There's nobody here who can say for sure that we will still be around by tomorrow. Nobody. It is God who determines who will still be around by 2023. Somebody said to me, sir, who do you think should be president in 2023? I said, president of where? He said, president of Nigeria. How are you sure there will be Nigeria in 2023? How are you sure? Can you swear? I pray there will be, so don't misquote me.
You can see the difference between two different pastors or prophet or man of God. While one was factual, that Nigeria is galloping, the other one was pepe, on Soro. So the agenda to keep Nigeria together has now kick-started just after the 12th of October this year, when they now realize that this agenda of Babakitoye and Igboho and many of us is not a joke. What they realize now is the earlier they get rid of us, the better for the mission and the vision of Britain and the rest of the world in keeping and managing Nigeria. The letter that was delivered, that many people are saying that it does not have any value. The letter, there are many analysts, from the crazy ones and the stupid ones and the ones that are born bastards, that cannot process that the Yorubas are bigger than Malta, that is refinery, that refine your crude oil, that the Yoruba that are bigger than Finland, that the Yoruba that are bigger than Belgium, the Yoruba that are bigger in size, in the land, in the waters, in intelligence, but the same Yorubas are more than happy for crumbs. And that is why, if we give room again, Nigeria will be amalgamated and it will be a disaster for every one of us. It's not about Igboho anymore now. Ó kù sí gbogbo wa lọ́wọ́ báyìí. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń gbọ́ ètò yìí, intelligent tó dórí desk mi ni pé they are going to sign a new amalgamation on the 7th of November this year. But listen to this.
There is no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves.
We are not Nigerian.
Okay, where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country. So anybody who goes there today to say, pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria had not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria.
Now, let's break it down. Edekama, break it down one at a time. And I'll give room for call within the next 40 minutes. Moki gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yoruba, I greet all Nigerians. I understand your plight to save Nigeria, but the saving of Nigeria will make you more poorer. The saving of Nigeria will not give you the privilege to be exactly who you plan to be in the future, and the future is now. The saving of keeping one Nigeria will continue to create a lot of disagreement, online, offline, among every indigenous people. We are not tribes. I don't know the Igbos. We don't know the Hausas. We are all different people until the fraudulent British amalgamation in 1914 that will now be renewed on the 7th of November by some of the Yoruba kings. Not all of them, but every single one of them have been invited. Whether the ones that are not going to sign will be bold enough to face the camera and tell us the truth after their meeting, time will tell. History is about to be played out in Yoruba land, as the Yoruba kings have now accepted that they will not allow the breakup of Nigeria at this present time, because Bola Tinubu is the present president, and also many other things that I will not be able to reveal on the social media for security reasons. But the time I will release them. But I can confirm that the world wants Nigeria to break up. I can tell you that. They are fed up of many of what is happening in Nigeria. The injustice. Billions of dollars have been pumped into Nigeria, but those billions continue to leave the shore of Nigeria to other countries around the world. As an investigative journalist that also work with many other outlets, media outlets, we have many criminals like Ike Ekerimadu. We know many of them like Alison Madueke Dezani that will be going to court next year. There are many of them like that. Some of them will not pass through UK anymore. Some of them are working tirelessly so that they are not extradited back to the UK. We know Abba Kyari, many of them like such. But what many Nigerians do not understand is that you are being used as part of the guinea pigs by the international community, most importantly the IMF and the World Bank. They are the most crazy institution that wants to keep us together. And that is why they will need somebody like Obasanjo that thinks that he is the face of Africa, an old bagger that believes that we can stick together in one crazy country called Nigeria, even though, because I have the evidence, that he himself told us that if we are not stupid, it is time that we all push. If you don't push, nobody's calling for war. I am not calling for war. I am repeating exactly what Obasanjo said, that if we do not push all these criminals out of the way, not to save Nigeria, but for everybody to go their separate ways, you will lose your life at some point because of paracetamol. You will lose your life because of the insecurity. You will lose your life because you will not be able to practice your religion, whether you are Muslim, Christian, or a traditionalist. You will not have the freedom that you expect in a client society. Nigeria is a zoo, and nothing will work out of it. Yes, it is still a country, and we will manage it until it breaks up. You have every right to keep your passport, since if you don't have access to another passport, not everybody has the British, America, or Japan, or whatever passport. But one thing is, the breakup of Nigeria is something that must happen, but the world will not let it to break. And that is the reason why a meeting has been called by the Yoruba kings to renew the fraudulent amalgamation. But this is what Obasanjo told us some few years back, that nobody is coming to save you. You must save yourself if you truly want to be free. Let's listen to how Obasanjo told us that.
Now, you see, you, Obina, you have everything going for you. And I don't want you to feel discouraged. Please, things are bad in Nigeria, but I believe it's only for a short time.
That is a word of criminals. Things are bad in Nigeria, but it's a short time. But they are living the biggest life of their life. Their family are doing very well. They have the network. But they are telling the average Yoruba man that cannot have 3 square meals that things are bad. Ọmọ Yorùbá bá sọjọ́ ní nǹkan dánilẹ̀ Yorùbá, nǹkan dání Nàìjíríà, àmọ́ ìyẹn ò ní kébì support Odùduwà Republic. But Ọbásanjọ́ mọ̀ pé tá bá gbọ́ Odùduwà Republic, we can be able to hold everyone accountable, including myself. But Ọbásanjọ́ ní no, nǹkan ò dá lóòótọ́, àmọ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká sì jọ wà nínú one Nigeria. So nígbà tó Ọbásanjọ́ mọ̀ pé things are bad, why then must it be bad unto the lives of many Yoruba people, and those that are not Yorubas continue to struggle in this madness country that was created for nobody but for themselves, because Obasanjo is one out of many Nigerians that had the privilege to have enjoyed life after he killed during the Biafra War, fighting the war on behalf of Britain. The Biafra War was never a British-Nigeria war. It was a war between the Biafra and the British government. Ṣé ìjà ti sìn will be between the Yorubas and Britain? Time will tell. But the letter Igboho delivered is not a letter that nobody knows the content. But Baba Akintoye knows exactly what is in the content. And nobody, and I repeat, not even the British High Commissioner have any right to discuss on that letter, because it is a confidential letter and to remain confidential until the breakup of Nigeria. The country Nigeria is now imminent to break up. But what we are saying is it can be done peacefully, and it still can be done peacefully. But we know that the agenda is for them not to allow Nigeria to break. And that is why wanting to ìpàdé ní November 7th. The intelligence is stated clearly. 2 different meetings will happen on the day. One will be deceiving us. The other will make sure that the Yoruba people will continue to remain one Nigeria, whether you like it or not. Owa kù sáwa lọ́wọ́. It's not about Baba Akintoye. It's not about Igboho. It's now about every Yoruba to tell Obasanjo that we are tired of Nigeria and you have no say to the life of Yoruba people. It is now us to decide. You will not decide on our behalf anymore, regardless of who you are or your status or whatever your agenda to one crazy Nigeria that was never a country before the 1914 amalgamation. Let's go back and listen. That is a Yoruba man crying out that Obasanjo is telling that you take time, things will get better. Yoruba man that is crying, things will get better. Obasanjo said so some few years back. But it is entirely up to Yoruba people to stand up and defend what belongs to them. Yoruba territory belongs to us, does not belong to Britain, does not belong to America, does not belong to any crazy international community. And we will defend that territory. We will not be able to fight it from here in Britain. We will not be able to fight it from America. but we can fight and defend the territorial ground of Yoruba land on that soil. Ẹni máa kú ló máa kú, ẹni máa yè ló máa yè. The world must understand that the Yoruba people of today are different from the crazy ones that have managed to sublet and keep them under their toes. This generation will work tirelessly so that we can be free from the shackles of the international community, so that we don't need to japa to any madness country, so that we can be staying in this country for 15, 20 years, 25 years and looking for stupid immigration papers when we have everything. Ẹni máa kú ló máa kú ni. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ló máa gbáradì torí ogun bọ̀. I am saying it. The kings are signing a new Yoruba into Nigeria on the 7th of November. That is the intelligence, but they will not tell you this. I am telling you officially. Gbogbo ìpàdé tó fi pè ní on the 7th is an agenda to keep Nigeria and Yoruba inside. Taba failed this time around. Every one of us will suffer the consequence of it. But I know that we will not fail. But listen again to a Yoruba man that is crying out and telling Obasanjo that ìlú yìí ti sú wa, ó lè ní gbogbo yín, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ dàlúrú, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ nínú Nàìjíríà, ó wá di àsìkò nísìn kẹ́ make life easy fún gbogbo wa. Ẹ wá ń sọ fún wa pé ká lọ ṣe sùúrù pé nǹkan ṣì máa dáa. Kò ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ obìnrin nìkan, ọmọ Yorùbá ń sunkún, ọmọ Haúsá ń sunkún nítorí pé wọ́n ti gbá àwọn yẹn sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan. Now, let's go back again and listen to this Yoruba man crying out loud that ebi ń pa wá, ìyà ń jẹ wá, owó school ò ṣe san. Ṣáwọn ọmọ Ọbásanjọ́ ò rówó school san ni? Ṣé wọ́n rí scholarship ni? What the British does is that they offer scholarship for different groups of people and they put that scholarship and most of them pay nothing, not even accommodation. While you are looking for thousands of pounds to come and study in the UK, their children are living here for free and under a free full scholarship up to PhD while you are struggling, working on Uber, nurse, healthcare, COS, come and do this, come and do that. Everybody has japa, but we cannot take 30, 60 million of Yoruba people back home into UK. And UK remain the stumbling block to the breakup of Nigeria.
Gàrí ọ̀gá ti di 1-2. Ó ti sú mi, orílẹ̀-èdè ti sú mi, báyìí kọ́ ni wọ́n bá tẹ́lẹ̀, gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ní wàhálà yìí ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ ni wọ́n kà o.
Gbogbo àwọn tó ní wá lára yìí, ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ lẹ́ka. You all have a quality education, yet millions of our people do not have access to good education again. Why then should we save this madness country? It is time that every Nigerian understand that the election that you conduct will never save you. There is no amount of election that can save Nigeria. I don't have any business in the north, and I don't have to visit the northern part of Nigeria because it's not Yoruba territory. I have no business in the southeast. I have no business in the middle belt. My business in the soil of Yoruba land, and we will fight to defend that land, even if many people will have to die, because that is the only option. If negotiation of peace is refused, we will fight with our last blood to save the Yoruba people from the madness of anyone, regardless of their status in the world. You do not own that path. We will make it ungovernable for you, just like Obasanjo said. Let's go back and listen to Obasanjo and leave that young man, because that young man will be given another bread. They're born bastard, and they will still vote again in 2027, forgetting that their life is miserable. Let's go back and listen to the craziness of what Obasanjo said some few years back.
Because now, you see, you, Obina, you have everything going for you. And I don't want you to feel discouraged. Please, things are bad in Nigeria, but I believe it's only for a short time. Because it depends on you. Whatever my generation might have done wrong, and I will be the first to admit that my generation has done a lot.
Obasanjo has admitted that his generation, their born bastard generation, have done wrong. If this generation fails to dissolve this fraudulent amalgamation, your life will remain miserable to death comes to you because you're not able to afford paracetamol.
What's wrong? It's for your generation to do it better. And Don't just sit down and complain.
Many Nigerians are sitting down and complaining. The time for complaining has ended. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, gbogbo chichi-chacha nínú group. Olúkálùkù ló máa múra sílẹ̀, because we will come out, and we will come out in force. We will come out to defend the territory of Yoruba land, from Kwara to Kogi, from Ondo to Esun, from Oyo to Lagos to Ogun State. We will defend every part. Ẹni máa máa kú ló máa kú ni, ẹni máa yè ló máa yè. We will make sure that that territory is no longer governable for anyone until the dissolution of Nigeria. When that time is getting closer, you will find out. But like I said, November 7 is another agenda by the kings. Not all of them. Not all of them. But every king have been invited. I do not know who is going to sign and who is not going to sign. But our intelligence will tell me on the November 7th, ẹni tó tọwọ́ bọ̀wé àtẹni tó tọwọ́ bọ̀wé. Gbogbo tó máa ṣó fún yín láàárọ̀ títí dọ̀sán is all lies. Òru ló máa ṣèpàdé tó máa sign amalgamation Yorùbá padà sínú Nàìjíríà. Go back and listen to Obasanjo again. I am not calling for war, just like Obasanjo never called for war. But we will push this bastard as far, so that we can save our life. Orí YouTube kọ́ láti máa gba Yorùbá Nation. Orí Facebook kọ́, orí Twitter kọ́, orí Mixera. We will defend that territory. We will come back home. Ẹni máa máa kú ló máa kú, ẹni máa yè ló máa yè ni lọ́dọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀.
Don't just sit down and complain. Sitting down and complain is like the anger of the cripple. You're on the same time, you will be on the same ground, on the same level, but you have to be proactive.
We have to be proactive, and that's exactly what we are doing on a daily basis on this platform. Proactive. Bringing the world closer to your doorstep is what Koiki Media does. And that's exactly what we must prepare for. 2 years Britain prepared for the D-Day landing. We still have the ample of time to prepare enough to save ourselves from the shackles of the international criminal organization that are holding us backwards and expect us to apply for crazy visa to visit their country or even to apply for jobs. Let me state this clearly. Living abroad means nothing. Going back to our territory to save it is the only thing we can do with this generation. And this generation will exactly do as they say. Need èèyàn tó pọ̀. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people will disrupt the whole system, and that system will crumble. But we can still do all these without any confrontation. But if they think that we will sit behind the scene and be shouting to the camera will be shut down. Internet will go off. M1 ló máa padà di the end of.
Tẹ́ ẹ bá lè rí àmì ṣe, gbogbo ogun tó lóhùn ní gbọ́ tó lóhùn ní gbà lórí ayé yín, iná agbára Ọlọ́run máa jó dànù. Kí lè nǹkan tẹ́ ń là kọjá tó dàbí pé ẹ ti wá ọ̀nà àbáyọ ṣùgbọ́n tí ẹ ti rí ọ̀nà àbáyọ. Ẹ ti pàdé wòlíì yín ló fà, ṣùgbọ́n arán mi sí ọ lónìí dádì, arán mi sí ọ lónìí mọ́mì. Olúwa lòun fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan ńlá nínú ayé yín. Olúwa sọ wípé gbogbo tẹ́ ń là kọjá yẹn òun fẹ́ fi òpin sí. Kí nìkan tẹ́ ń là kọjá lórí ìgbéyàwó ni, lórí ọmọ ni, lórí iṣẹ́ ni, níbi gbogbo ni, bóyá ogun kan ló dàbí pé ogun yẹn le, ẹ ti gbìyànjú kò tí ì sí ọ̀nà àbáyọ. Ẹ jẹ́ àjọ gbàdúrà, ẹ jẹ́ àjọ wá ojú Olúwa, kí làṣírí ogun yẹn gangan, ẹ jẹ́ àjọ wádìí lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run, ká dẹ̀ mọ ọ̀nà àbáyọ. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ fi pè mí fún àdúrà àti ọ̀nà àbáyọ, òun náà ni +234 70 25 47 5427 +234 70 25 47 5427. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń pè mí fún àdúrà lórúkọ Jésù ẹ máa rí ìyanu.
Àràbà TV, ojú wa tó lé, ojú wa tó kó.